Yo, what's going on, guys? It is Tom and welcome back to a brand new video, and this is episode number 8, I believe, of Zero to Hero, and we are here for the British Grand Prix and my personal home race, and one that I'm hoping to do very well in, and hopefully you guys are looking forward to this race. Obviously last time out I did a special double episode, mainly because obviously I had some problems with my brake pedal, so therefore the races weren't as good as they could have been. However, I think I've fixed the issue for a little while. I've got another idea lined up for maybe around Spa time, but for now I think I've got a bit of a fix for this race and we shouldn't be too bad. Now obviously looking at the setup, it is absolutely default as last time in Austria. Spoiler alert, we finished in P4, so therefore there was no upgrades or any downgrades. So that is how things stand in the current state. So as you can see, we are here at a very overcast Silverstone, and we will be starting on the softer medium compound tyre, and fingers crossed we can get a result here, because this is my home race and I want to always try and perform for the fans and really put on a show here. So let's jump into the race now, and fingers crossed, let's try and see if we can actually get the first upgrade in a little while, and let's hope it's not a bloody joker, because the jokers have been really screwing us over recently. So here we are then, starting from the back of the grid as per usual. We're going to gear up to the 5 red lights for the British Grand Prix, and we are underway here, getting a pretty decent start. Actually my starts recently have been too bad, so a pretty decent start once again now as we make our way into the first corner, Abbey, and can we try and possibly pick off any sort of overtake here on any of the Manners and McLarens here possibly, as we go around the outside of Pascal Wehrlein, and then up the inside of both Haryanto and also both of the McLarens here, and trying to have a sniff up the inside of Palmer also, but there's no room there, so we're going to have to just hold back for a second and try and pick him off elsewhere, as we get some pretty decent traction actually on the exit of turn 4 through turn 5, going around the outside of Fernando Alonso there, and Alonso actually yields and lets me go by, so a fantastic overtake on him there. But we're going to move later on to the end of lap 1, and we're on the back of Julian Palmer, who's also in his home race and is going to want to impress the home fans here, as we make our way now on the exit of Beckett's onto Chapel and now onto the Hangar Straight. Can we possibly pick a move here on Julian Palmer? The straight line speed of the Renault is actually pretty good around here, and I believe they're still sort of coded as Lotus, so the Lotus obviously had a Mercedes power unit before the mods were applied, so the Renault is actually pretty nippy in a straight line. But we got past him nevertheless up the inside of Stowe, and we're now going to try and pick up a move here on Naz. We're going to have a little sniff up the inside, but there's no room there for the time being. We're going to have to sit behind him through this sort of twisty section and the last part of the track here as we go through the final corner. And can we possibly try and pick up a move here similar to the first lap? If we can try and maybe get some good momentum through this first couple of corners and maybe try and make a move here on Naz, as we get a fantastic run through turn 1, just missing his right rear tyre. It could have easily given us some front wing damage, and then we're going to just go nice and late on the brakes into turn number 3 up the inside of his teammate Marcus Ericsson there. So a double overtake on both of the Saubers, and we're now around the outside of Magnussen, but there's no room through there. A very tricky move to make that one. You really need to have the car dialed in and really have a good setup on, which is not what I've got, because I've got literally a default setup. So here we go then later on to the end of lap 2 now. Once again, similar situation as before with Felipe Nasr. We're going to get a good little run through this sort of twisty section and through the final corner, and we're just going to set ourselves up for a nice little run through the first corner, and fingers crossed this is where we can do our damage. Once again, DRS enabled now on lap 3, and we're going to get a fantastic run through the first corner here and pull alongside Kevin Magnussen, and then make the move up the east side of turn number 3 here, nice and late on the brakes, and that is us done and dusted up in the P12 there. So a fantastic overtake on Magnussen there. Very a sort of overtake that I do enjoy, because it's one of them ones that has a nice bit of flow to it and it's very satisfactory when you pull off the move in the end. But as you can see, we are on the back of Danny Kvyat on the end of lap 4, and we're going to try and go around the outside of Stowe corner here. A little bit of contact as Kvyat gives us a good old squeeze to the outside curb there, but we are going to have no nonsense, and we're going to dive one up the inside of the Val chicane, I believe, and we're now on the back of his teammate Carlos Sainz, and if we pass him, that would set us up for some World Championship points, as we set the fastest lap of the race here. So it's a really good pace so far, and the default setup is actually working a treat, and it seems like so far the brake pedal is not sticking down, which is good. So I've got maximum straight line speed as we dive one up the inside of Carlos Sainz at turn 3 here. Once again, really just literally giving the fans something to scream over, those fans there in the grandstand in the background, and they're really putting on a show for them. But as you can see, we're down to P10 into the points, and we're on the back of Sergio Perez here. I'm now going diving one up the inside of Stowe corner here, and as you can see, there's a yellow flag for some reason. There's a car's going off on the right hand side. That's Nico Rosberg. He's crashed into both of the Red Bulls, and there's been a huge crash. There's tyres everywhere, and I don't even know what's happened, but we've got into P6 somehow, and that's both of the Red Bulls, I think, out of the race, and Nico Rosberg as well involved in that. So Rosberg causing some sort of incident once again. It had to be Nico Rosberg, similar to real life there. But we're going to have to continue on here, and so drawing us now. Sergio Perez tries to have a dive up the inside of us into turn 1, but there's no room through there. And look at this now. This is trainer cars here battling for P2 here, and there's me, Hamilton, Hulkenberg, Bottas and Massa, and it's all just incredible action so far at Silverstone as we're running really deep into turn number 4 here, and Perez actually gets past us, and even Sainz is trying to have a look as we're running really deep into turn 4, and also Hamilton and Hulkenberg going side by side there just ahead of us. So as you can see now, going later on, and we're going into Brooklands now. As you can see, look at it, Hamilton and Hulkenberg have come together. They've sort of locked tyres or something, and they've actually had contact, so that's another 2 positions we're going to gain there into Luffield. But we're going to look at a replay of the entire incident itself and really sort of grasp an idea as to what happened. And as you can see, Rosberg's battling with Vettel, and then Vettel, when Rosberg locked tyres, Rosberg goes off, he tries to rejoin onto the racing line, and then look at that, massive crash. Both of the Red Bulls out of the race, I believe. So a real shocker here at Silverstone. Looking at one more angle from Lewis Hamilton's point of view, and I've got to say this is a very dramatic one, because you will see all of a sudden Rosberg is just going to swing in like that and just completely take out both of the Red Bulls. Just an unbelievable crash here, and the very unfortunate one for the Red Bulls, the Milton Keynes based team in their home race. But that's definitely going to benefit us. As you can see, we're actually now on lap 7 on the back of Felipe Massa and Valtteri Bottas. We've got past Perez in the meantime, and as you can see, we're now trying to hunt these 2 Williams down, but Perez is going to try and fight back here. As you can see, he's got DRS on us. Even though we've got DRS, he's got more straight line speed because of the full setup that I'm running, and he's going to have a little dive up the inside of Brooklands here. I'm going to hang it around the outside and take the initiative into Luffield. But once again, Perez, look at him, he's getting the much more grip on the inside line, and he's actually going to go side by side with us here as he forces us right out to the curb on the exit. They go through Woodcote now onto the old pit straight here. There's going to be side by side action, and eventually Perez with the straight line speed in that Force India just gets ahead of us into Copse Corner. But we're going to get a fantastic run through there and stay right on his gearbox. Can we possibly size him up for a move here into Maggis and Beckett? We're going to go for it, and he just literally shuts the door on us clean right at the last second, and we keep our front wing in one piece as we go through Maggis, Beckett and Chapel, and we're now going to kick out onto the hangar straight, and we're right at the back of Perez here, and we should be able to re-overtake him with some DRS, fingers crossed, if this goes all according to plan. As you can see, DRS is wide open, and meanwhile both Williams are going up ahead of the road, and then we're going to go up the inside of Sergio Perez here and make the move for P4 and retake our position. And meanwhile, you can see Massa actually dives into the pit lane here, so that's going to set us on our way to try and overtake Valtteri Bottas, who's the car ahead of us here, and if we can get past him, then that would be us into P2, so only Vettel would be the next car that we'd have to overtake. And speaking of Vettel, he's in the pit lane as well, so I'm going to go into net second place, and if we pass Valtteri Bottas here, we can take the lead of the race, so that'd be absolutely fantastic here at Silverstone. As you can see, we get a fantastic run through the first couple of corners here and just dive one up the inside of turn 3. Once again, textbook move here, which is one that I really like to make. Went a little bit deep there by accident, but we do get the move done there. Bottas is going to try and have another sniff up our inside here, getting a beautiful little switchback through turn 4. I'm just going to try and hang it around the outside, but Bottas is having none of it, and he gives us a little bit of a wheel bang there, a little bit of a love tap, and he's actually got DRS on us, so we can't match him in a straight line. So Bottas is going to take the lead of the race, but I'm going to dive one back up the inside at Brooklands. Any room? No, there's not. There's no room there, so we're going to have to hang back for now and try and wait elsewhere for a possible overtake on the Finnish driver here as we go out of Luffield now. As you can see, we've got one slipstream of Bottas here as we go through Woodcote, and can we possibly pick off a move here? It looks like Bottas has got a bit too much straight line speed in the back of that Williams, so we're going to have to wait for a little while now as we get a fantastic run through Copse Corner here and pull alongside Bottas and try and breeze past him before Maggis and Beckett here. Side by side stuff into Maggis. Who's going to blink first? We're going to hold the racing line, and Bottas runs out wide, and he actually causes a yellow flag there. I think he must have had a little bit of crash or something, but we're going to take the lead of the race at the end of lap 8, and literally at the end of that lap I'm coming in from my pit stop to respond to Massa and Vettel's pit stops. And this is one hell of a pit lane here at Silverstone, one of the longest ones and one of the slowest ones on the calendar, because the speed I believe is 58 kilometers, so very slow on here at Silverstone. But as you can see, the mechanics are out in full force for a lot of teams actually, so a lot of cars come into the pit lane, so it's going to be a fairly busy pit lane here, and hopefully we don't get held up too much as we get our tyres changed. It looks like that Toro Rosso's held us up a little bit, so once again another race with no luck in terms of the pit stops department, but lucky enough we didn't lose too much time, and we're underway on a fresh set of medium tyres, which are the softer of the two available this weekend. And that's going to be a question of where are we going to rejoin, because if we can get some clean air, then that's crucial for us, because we could really put in some lap times here. And have we managed to jump Massa? That's the real question here, and I think we have. As you can see, no, we haven't. Massa's right there. I thought we jumped him for a second there, but Massa just had a bit too much momentum there through the first couple of corners, and he got past us. But however, moving later on to the start lap 14, these medium tyres, I've switched them on now, and they're right in the sweet spots. We set the fastest lap of the race, and we're now all over the back of Massa actually. I'm getting these two names wrong, but here we go, up up the inside of Massa into the third corner here. Once again making the move there. My favourite corner on the track in terms of overtaking. Such an effective spot, especially on the AI, because they seem to brake very early into that corner. But we got the move there done on Massa, but we get a horrible tank slapper on the exit on the very next lap there out of Luffield, and that allows Massa to get back alongside us here. As you can see, he gets some brilliant slipstream, and he's going to go up the inside of Cop's corner here. I'm going to try and switch back on him, but Massa swings out really wide there, and we have contact. However, I'm going to get the better speed into Maggotts and Beckett's, and I'm going to pull ahead of him there and retake my rightful P2 there. So very just strange incident there. I had a really I had a vision in my head in terms of the perfect switchback on Massa there, but he just literally ran out way too wide, and I could not react to that in time. So as you can see later on, and we're moving on to the second phase of the pit stops. As you can see, Vettel did pit a couple laps before me, and I'm responding to him once again here because I feel like we're racing Vettel this race. I think we can actually win this race for the first time. We're yet to win a single race this season, and it's looking like at the moment the brake pedal is not screwing me over, and the full setup is actually working quite nicely through the corners. So fingers crossed, if this goes according to plan, then we could be on course for a possible race victory here. So here we go. As you can see, we're in the pit stops for our second and final stop, and we've gone on to a set of orange prime tyres, the slower compound of the two, and 2.5 pit stop, not particularly great, but as you can see on the left hand side of your screen there, in the bottom left should I say, Vettel's just gone past us, so that is the gap that we need to make up to catch Sebastian Vettel this race, and he's kind of being held up a little bit by Felipe Nasr, which is going to help us quite a lot. But as you can see, Massa's just behind us there, so we've managed to stay ahead of him. But now on lap 17 onto the start of lap 18, we're going to try and push really hard here and try and catch Sebastian Vettel, because he is the man that we want to pass, because we're now back up into second place after Nasr did his pit stop. So as you can see, skipping later on onto the last lap of the race, I was literally pushing so hard this final stint, and this is the last lap as things stand. That is the gap to Vettel, and they're moving all the way on to the last lap. Now the literally last part of the race, last sector, we're on the back of Sebastian here with DRS wide open into Stowe corner, running a little bit deep on purpose to get a much better exit here. And now we're going to dive one up the inside of the Val chicane on the last lap here. We're going to try and be nice and brave on the brakes, dive one up the inside, put our nose in. Vettel gives us the room. We're going to shut the door on him there through the second part of the corner. Vettel's going to try and get past us, but there's no room through. We're going to go through the final corner and win the British Grand Prix, my home race. Fantastic race, and the first victory of the season, and a massive 25 points. So a really hard fought victory there. Some great battling, some incredible crashes, and overall a British Grand Prix to remember. I think an absolutely fantastic race, and the strategy worked out an absolute treat, going a little bit longer on both of the stints and trying to increase the tyre stint, and that really did pay off for me, and I had the much better tyres at the end to get past Sebastian Vettel. And as you see, it's a Ferrari 1-2, because the Mercedes had a lot of problems this race, including Rosberg, who obviously crashed, and Hamilton as well. He was quite far down the order, and he had that incident with Nico Hulkenberg as well. So we'll have to see where those two finish, but a 1-2 for Ferrari, absolutely crucial for the Constructors' Championship. And looking at the final race results, obviously the top three are myself, Vettel and Bottas, and then Felipe Massa finished in 4th place, with Sergio Perez there way up in P5, fantastic result for him. Then Danny Kvyat in also way up in 6th place for the Toro Rosso, Nico Hulkenberg in 7th, and then Lewis Hamilton down in P8 there, with Marcus Ericsson in 9th and Jenson Button in P10. And look at that, both of the Red Bulls and Nico Rosberg DNF. So a very poor race for those three, so not one that they're going to be particularly proud of. And Hamilton only getting 4 World Championship points in his home race. So lucky enough, I managed to put a smile on the British fans here at Silverstone by winning the British Grand Prix. And looking at the Drivers' Championship, that win puts us right back into contention, and we're only 12 points behind Nico Rosberg. Vettel is only 1 point behind us, and Lewis Hamilton is still only 14 points behind us. So it's all very close at the top, and any of the top 4 can still win the World Championship. And that means in the Constructors, we've actually overtaken Mercedes, and we're 2 points ahead of them now. So this is really yo-yoing as the season goes on there. But I'm looking at the series rules and permutations, and obviously a race win means that we get 3 spins off the wheels. So that is fantastic for us. Like I said, the first win of the season, and we're going to get the maximum possible upgrade. So we're going to move into the wheel, and let's see if we can try and get some decent upgrades. And please, I beg, let's not get any jokers, because I'm sick of those now. I really don't want any more. I just want to get some upgrades on my car, and the first one is going to be the rear toes. So that is a pretty decent upgrade, a rear end upgrade on the car, which is crucial because we didn't get any of those before. And as you can see, we're now moving on to the second one, and we get the front suspension, so that's not too bad. And ideally I want an aero upgrade. If we can get aero, that'd be absolutely fantastic. But oh wow, okay, so we get one. We get the front wing. So I was going to say for a second there, we doesn't look like we're going to get an aero upgrade, but we did actually get one. We got the front wing. I would prefer the rear wing so I can modify the straight line speed of the car, but I'm not complaining. That is overall 3 very solid upgrades, and hopefully you guys have enjoyed this video, and if you have, then please do smash that like button for a hectic race here. And let's see if we can try and hit 90 likes. I'm going to try and challenge you guys. 90 likes for the British Grand Prix, the first win of the season. I think you guys can do that. And also, if you're new around here, please be sure to subscribe to my channel. If you want to follow me on Twitter at Tom97HD, that'd be greatly appreciated. And yeah guys, that's about it for this video, and I'll see you in my next one very soon. Goodbye.